know what, everyone? Just spent the last 10 minutes talking to this phone to then find out that it weren't recording. Honestly. Anyway, I just wanted to come on and say I felt like I wanted to do a video because I feel like even though I put a couple of videos out, I don't feel like I've been totally present on the channel as I normally would be. And I think the reason for that is I've just got so much going on at the moment, everyone. Honestly, I just have to tell you, because a few weeks ago I got made redundant. I'd just been in Egypt, come back from Egypt, got told I was being made redundant, had to get a new job. Ended up getting a new job in Barnsley, enjoyed the job. It's an adjustment because I'm having to learn new systems, new ways of doing things. I've done the job before. Not in this specific sector, but I've done the job before. So that's a good thing. But there's a lot of adjusting that I have to do, and yeah, there's just a lot going on. That said, you know, I'm sort of in my 4th week in the role now, and I feel like things are going well. So we'll just have to wait and see. We'll just keep ploughing away and see where we go with it. So there's that. I get my final pay from my other job at the end of this month, and then that's that done. So I've got all of that coming to a close, and then starting. So there's that, and then I've also had to deal with, on top of all of that, in the background for the last year, I've had this thing going on with this court case. So I've got a car parking company that are taking me to court over unpaid parking fees. I'm not going to go into it now, but I'm challenging it, not because of the fees. Now, I'm not bothered about the parking fees, but there's all sorts of things that they've done. So they've whacked all these charges on, and they've denied me sight of the contract, and they haven't engaged by they just made it very, very difficult for me to. The first letter that this company sent, they were acting on behalf of these parking companies. You can't challenge this, what we're asking now, which was like at the time £300. You need to pay us £300, and the only time you're going to get to challenge that £300 is if it goes to court. So pay up or go to court. That's basically what they said. So I had to do all sorts of freedom of information. I wrote back to him. Even though he said you can't challenge it, I wrote back to him and said, I want to see the contract. And they wrote back to me and said it's irrelevant, the contract. It's totally irrelevant. Or disproportionate, me requesting to see the contract that they're specifying I entered when I went into the car park. Oh, did I mention the car park? It was 3 years ago. 3 years ago when I got the letter in May 2024. So this happened in September of 2021. This was about the time I'd moved into this house in July during COVID. Told the DVLA that I'd moved, and I don't know I don't know when they updated my details, but I know that I've got proof. I did a freedom of information request at this car parking company, and they sent me all the letters relating to the Teague. I was driving the Teague at the time, and they sent me all of the letters. And straight away I sort of knew that there was proof that they knew I lived here, because I knew that I'd paid a fine around about that time while I lived here. But what they'd done, those September ones, they'd sent them to my previous address. And that's why I didn't know anything about them. But even though they knew I lived here, they didn't send me any letters. They didn't say, guess what, you've got 2 outstanding fines. They just didn't send. I just didn't hear about it for 3 years, until I got this letter that said, you need to pay us £300 now, because we want £300. And I'm like, 340 it was actually, not 300, 340. And I'm like, no, I don't know anything about this. Anyway, and then I said contract, and they said, no, your request for the contract is irrelevant or disproportionate. So then I did a freedom of information request, and the freedom of information request produced this document. This document is a DVLA search that they did, which proves that they knew I lived here on the 19th of October last year. 2 days after that, they'd sent a letter to my previous address on the same car. So they'd been updated and told that I lived here but the reminder for the fine that they'd issued in September, they sent to my previous address. So there's an issue there for GDPR. They didn't handle my data properly. They didn't match up that I'd moved. They didn't do any of that. And they continued to send. Anyway, long and the short of it is, they're adamant that they want this money off me and I've not got a leg to stand on because they can prove that I was in the car park. And what I'm saying is, never denied being in the car park. The fine or the charge, they're not fine because they can't fine you, they can only charge you. But because it's a private company, but I've never once said that I won't pay that. What I'm saying is, I don't understand these charges. Like, show me the contract that says, anyway, and they won't do it. So what they've done is they've decided to take it all the way to the county court, and they've told me all along, I need to be very careful because I'm going to get a CCJ. Maybe I will get a CCJ. Maybe I'll come out of the court and maybe the court will say, no, Sarah, you should have known. You should have had a crystal ball. You know, you should take the blame because the DVLA didn't update your address and blah, 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 right? So, but I don't think the court will say that because how can they when I can demonstrate that they knew I lived here all along? Anyway, so there's that. I've had to deal with all of that, and that's the case in a nutshell, and I will let you know what happens from that. But what I will say, this court hearing now is only the start, because I'm going to go after them for GDPR non-compliance. Sorry, I've already let them know that in the court document that I reserve the right to take them for GDPR, and I've done a counterclaim as well. Only a small amount, but we'll see. So I've had all of that going on, and so yeah, I've had a new job, I've had the court to sort out, I've had a redundancy to deal with. I've not been well recently. I got a really bad cold, and then I had something wrong with my ears, and it, like, I didn't tell you, did I? Or did I? I don't think I did. I basically felt like I was drunk. One day I was walking to like the bin outside, and I don't drink. I used to, but I stopped like 2.5, maybe 3, I don't know, 2.5 years ago, something like that. Not even keeping count. But I don't drink, and I was walking to, but I've been drunk in my time. But even when I was drinking, I didn't stagger. I was walking to the bin staggering. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I had this funny feeling in my ears. Anyway, I thought I'll have to come and lie down. So I come upstairs, lay down on bed, and I heard this popping in my ear. Anyway, it turns out it was your station tube. The next day, all this stuff, well, I won't go into detail, but basically everything cleared. And then I felt all right. But I had all that to deal with, and just getting over the cough and stuff like that. Then I'm planning to go back to Egypt in August. That can't come soon enough, actually, my trip. I need, you know what I mean by that is I'm happy. I'm happy. But you know what? I think by the time August comes, I think I'll be ready. You know what I mean? I'll be getting on that plane and I'll be like, and I'm not going to be contactable because I'm going to have an Egyptian SIM, and I'm going to be telling work, don't contact me, because I ain't answering. I'm on holiday, and that's it. That's how it is. Which I don't think work will try and contact me, but you know what I mean? Like, when I go, that's it. You know what? I'd even go as far, well, I was going to go as far as to say I'm not going to do any filming, but that is a complete lie, because we've decided I'm going to fly out to Sham. Well, first of all, I fly to Cairo. Then I've got I've got a couple of hours in, sorry, my hair looks disgusting. I've got a couple of hours in Cairo, and then I land in Sham. So I'm going with Egypt tour. And, what was I saying? Oh God, I can't even think. Yeah, so then I'm going to go to Sham. I'm going to have 5 days in Sham, and then Mahmood and I are going to get on a plane, fly back to Cairo. We're going to get a hotel, I think Mahmood said to get in Cairo. He said not an apartment. We'll get an hotel. And I'm going to the Sphinx. Yes, I am. I'm not that bothered about going in a pyramid. if I'm completely honest with you, I'm not bothered about going in a pyramid. It's not really been something that I've wanted to do. The tombs, yeah, because they're painted, but the pyramids, not that bothered. I like to look at them. Going inside them, I'm not that bothered. But the Sphinx, yeah, the Sphinx, I definitely want to do. I probably will end up going in the bloody pyramid, knowing me. But the Sphinx is what I want to see. And also, I want to go to the old Cairo Museum and the new Cairo Museum. But I'm going to go to the old one first. Because I think the old one's like, yeah, I think I like old me, don't I? Like that new one, it looks spectacular. Like Mahmood sent me a video on it the other night. And it looks absolutely amazing. But the old one I want. And I was talking to him before. And what we're going to do, on this Egyptian flight, I can take 2 cases for 23 kg. A roll-on case. So 2 in the old, 1 roll-on case, and an handbag. Included in the price. They give you your meals, they give you your coffees. Included in the price. So it's not like an EasyJet where you pay for your flight and then you go, all right, yeah, I'm checking in now. Now I've got to pay. What's that on my finger? Like a bruise. I think it's when my ring's been. Yeah, it's not like a thingy where you go, right, yeah, now I've got to pay £60 or whatever it is for my case there and back. And when I get on, I've got to try and, hope they don't notice that I've got a frigging bag or something like that. So we'll see. Well, and it's an Airbus Summit that we're going on. So I think they're the same planes as flying out to Cairo. I think it's an Airbus, and then I think from Cairo to Sham, it's Boeing. So it is what it is. So that's that. Oh yeah, and where we're staying, we're gonna. I haven't finished my story ever. So I was talking to him before, and we're gonna go to the the souks and that in Cairo, the Egyptian markets. We're gonna go there, and then Mahmood says we'll just go and get like some clothes and stuff. He wears under his clothes, Mahmood, he wears like cotton, like a cotton t-shirt under his shirt or his top. All the time he wears it, even when it's warm. I like that about him. And he said when we're in Cairo, he said I'm going to get some new ones. So he's going to get some of them. I'm going to get because it's Egyptian cotton, isn't it? And you can get stuff in Sham, but I think it's more like touristy stuff. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like in Luxor or in Cairo, you can get, like proper stuff. You know what I mean, don't you? Like non-holiday stuff is what I'm talking about. Like just general everyday wear. But also there's like flea market things you can go to where they sell like old ornaments, and I want like a nice candelabra or a couple of sets of candelabras or something, or something I can bring back and have in my house because I'm a weirdo. And I like old stuff, like, look at my bedroom. So that's it. I think that's it. I think I'm going to call it quits at that. So I just wanted to let you know, if I've been a bit quiet or like thing, it's not that, or if my videos, I don't even know if my videos have been a bit boring. I don't know. I hope they're not. But, I've just been up against it, everyone. Honestly, I really have been up against it. But I do feel like I'm getting there. I do. So it is what it is. Also, I'll save that for another one because it's just something I'm thinking about, but I'm not going to be doing it yet. And it's nothing. Hey, and if you're from Oldham, they're pulling it's coming down, the Grand Theatre. They've levelled it. So I need to go and film that soon. And I need a brick. If you live in Oldham, or even if you're working on that site and you can get me a brick, will you get me a brick? Because I want a brick from the Grand Theatre. I want one of the ones from the outside, the terracotta ones. That's what I want. I wouldn't mind one of the ornate ones off the front. In fact, I wouldn't mind going seeing it, but it'll be down by the time I can go and see it. Because that front, when they pull that neck thing off the front of it, you'll be able to see how it was all them years ago and how it's been covered since the 1930s. Behind that tall thing with the clock on, everyone, there is the most beautiful the most beautiful and spectacular frontage to a building. So ornate, so beautiful. And it's gone. So that's that. There'll be a car park there soon. Or flats. Or maybe something that, I don't know, office buildings. Because apparently Oldham need office buildings, which is amazing, really, because there's so many buildings empty. But there you go. Anyway, don't get me on my high horse. I'm going, everyone. I will see you in the next one, which will be this weekend. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I ain't got a bleeding clue. Not thought about it. I think I'm just going to go out and do what I'm going to do. Actually, I bought a book today on cooking stuff from the 1979. So we might even do some recipes out of there. So let's see how we get on, everyone. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.